Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, how are
you, Chris?
Hi, Chris.
So it is now 2:03. Let me just do a roll call again of who I don't see. Rich Gopin. Mary Lou.
Here.
Good. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
And last but certainly not least, Robin.
Where'd she go?
Oh, well, she's on again, but I don't see Robin. I just see her house. Well, I'll say maybe. Okay. Well, we're going to call the meeting to order at 2:04. Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful fall afternoon, and welcome to the EAC meeting. First, we'll start off with announcements and holiday closings. Emily, would you like to take care of that?
I'm going to try not to talk too much because I'll cough again, Dave. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
But we are closed. Well, we just had the holiday for Veterans Day. We'll also be closed next Thursday and Friday, as well as Monday after Christmas.
Hard to believe that the holidays are already here.
I know.
It is amazing. We're going into the subcommittee reports now, and I'm just going to turn it around a little because the Senior Center Building Subcommittee and Chris doing the building update kind of go together. So I'm going to do the activity subcommittee first, and then we'll go into the building subcommittee. So I had a meeting with Emily last week on the 9th, with Emily and Courtney and myself, and the following topics were discussed with initial steps to initiate programs. First of all, we talked about a program to discuss and fight anti-Semitism and racism in Bridgewater. Courtney and I will be involved in planning an individual seminar, or hopefully a whole series of programs discussing the ever-increasing anti-Semitism and racism that's rising in America. I think you'd have to be under a rock to not realize that it's getting worse and worse and worse in current times. It's on the news every day. People that are famous celebrities say the most unfortunate things, and it's not getting better. Bridgewater is not immune to this hate whatsoever. Celebrities have been criticized in the news lately from promoting hate speech, but it's present in quieter, less obvious ways in the suburbs and around us every day. Courtney and I are just in the planning stages for this important program. If you're interested in participating, and I hope you will, because we're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to look to see if we can get speakers from the university to help us out with this important topics. But we also need help to shape the program, what we want to include, do not want to include, and we want all your voices to be part of this. It's important that we do raise a voice against racism and anti-Semitism. So it's a lot to swallow, but I think it's very, very important. So that's the first step of what we're talking about. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to bring up in regard to that? Okay. Welcome, Robin. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good. I saw you a couple of times, but I'm glad you're here officially. Good. After our last EAC meeting, which was in October, at that point, we thought we would not proceed with a Christmas visit to the Bridgewater Nursing Home. And indeed, we probably will not. But here's what we thought. Emily brought up to me that she would like to do something really special and significant for Christmas. So we put on our thinking caps. She wants to do something, possibly gifts, but something that will do good for the community. Many Bridgewater senior residents are struggling financially. This is probably the worst year in decades. It really is. People are hurting because of the significant increase in food prices. They're hurting because gas prices is still approaching $3. My oil bill from 2 years ago has gone up $3.50 a gallon. And, you know, if you're on a fixed income, I don't know where you go for help. I could go on. And it's just to say that people are struggling, they're frantic, and everyone needs help. We have a fund at the Senior Center called Needy Seniors. As of last week, Emily shared with me that it had approximately $1,500, and I could be off on that, but that's about what it had, which is not a heck of a lot of money to help a lot of needy seniors. We would like to get donations for this fund to really help our needy seniors for Christmas, but probably even more importantly, beyond. Financial need for food, need for home heating, oil, and doesn't stop after Christmas. If anything, it probably gets worse because people forget, you know, that the same people that maybe got a gift before Christmas still need it. So we thought of a couple of things. Gifts can include gift cards to a grocery store or a gas card or something like that. A very basic gift to try to help our seniors with basic needs now and throughout the year. I think that's pretty substantial to help folks in Bridgewater. Towards this end, I have provided Courtney with the name of the director of the local UFCW that would like to contribute from his organization. And also, I can line up several private donations and go from there. Emily always has resources. She's so knowledgeable in obtaining grants and funding and so forth. And I know there'll be money coming from those ways also. All donations would be submitted to the Bridgewater Senior Center. Checks would be notated Needy Senior Fund on the bottom left corner. And again, this doesn't have to be something that stops at Christmas. It doesn't have to be something with a major fund drive right now with, you know, people knocking on doors and so forth. It's just a nice thing to do. And it's kind of nice to help people that really need it. And we have a lot of employees at the Senior Center, like Kathy Hayes and so forth, that very well know who could use some help and so forth. So we don't even have to go knocking for needy seniors. They are very aware at the Senior Center. Is there anything anyone would like to bring up or comments or anything in regard to this?
I have a suggestion, whether it would, I don't know, be a benefit or not, but
Sure.
what if we did a tree? As volunteers could donate a gift card and we could hang it on a tree? Do a gift card tree or some sort?
I think that's wonderful. I think that's a great idea. You'd be getting a lot of people that visit the Senior Center. I think that's an easy way to get additional donations. I think you just would have to be specific that you want, you know, food or gas or whatever you think, but, you know, stuff that people really need. But I think that's wonderful. So
The
great
only
idea.
thing is I don't know how you would want to go about distributing them, like if.
Well, they
people
would be
number
decided. It would be decided from the Senior Center. And I would have to ask Emily and please pipe in if that's legal for us to do a tree like that. I know they do it at my East Bridgewater Y. We have a tree every year and many other places I go, but is that a kosher thing to do at the Senior Center?
We had a tree, it's about yay big, a foot big last year. And
Okay.
there were tags indicating special requests from certain people, certain
Okay.
seniors. And the majority of them were gift cards. So
Okay, great.
that works out well.
So it's great. So Robin, that's a wonderful idea. And the holidays are on us, so we'll have to get that set up ASAP. Does anyone else have any great ideas?
David, did you say we were going to, because the nursing home has a new activities director, we were going to kind of let her go with it?
Well-
But are we going to help out? We're going to contribute some things?
Well, tell me what you think about this. So when I was talking with Emily, you know, we had gone back and forth, in last month, excuse me, one sec. No, it's funny. Since I got COVID, I didn't have any cough or anything. I was very sick when I had COVID. After COVID got better, maybe 2 weeks later, I developed a cough and a few other things. I can't shake it. But anyways, we were talking about with Emily, and we're talking about the nursing home, and there are a couple of things. No matter what, the nursing home, everyone is well fed, they're clothed, and so forth. So they're never going to struggle for basic need. Most of them, but several of them might have some needs. So possibly I could reach out to the activity director and ask if there's any needy seniors over there, and also give them a gift card. At this point, and according to the meeting we had last month, there was not a general interest in pursuing the nursing home this year. So we possibly, depending how we do, reach out to them and see if anyone over there has a real need. And some people might need clothing or something. So we could give a gift card to Burlington Coat Factory or something like that. So what do you think about that?
How would they go out and get it?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not positive about that. We could also use that same money and ask them at the nursing home, what is their need? If it's a sweater or something like that, or they could tell us the size, and one of our volunteers could go out and get it for them. Truly, what we're looking at this year is to take care of our needy seniors from the senior center, and the ones that approach us that they have needs beyond what they can handle first. And we may not even get to the nursing home to help them with anything. It depends on how we're doing.
What about doing up just a basket that we could put just some cookies, candies, and just do one big basket in as a gift?
Well,
I
let me
like
throw
that idea.
throw it out to the group right now. How would everyone feel about that? There would be an expense involved. I'm not sure what a big basket would cost, possibly $100, something like that. How would anyone feel? Last time when we talked, there seemed to be a consensus, not this year, but I'm open for anything, and let us know what you think. So group, what are your opinions?
I think it's a good idea, Robin. Just a big giant basket with maybe some warm socks, and maybe I've already picked up a couple things, those things they like to stick on the windows.
Okay.
Those little gel things, and but socks, everybody always needs socks.
So just so you know, there is currently 28 residents at the nursing home.
28.
So everything you get would be times 28. So just so you know on that. Any other comments or anything anyone else would like to bring up?
I think it's a great idea, because I think it's like goodwill. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes them realize that we're thinking about them.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be stepping on the new director's toes, I don't believe, if we just contributed a large basket.
Right.
you know.
Well, actually, just so you know, she actually posted on either Bridgewater Residents or
Yeah.
0234 that she wanted, groups to get involved. So she was reaching out, and that's how I even heard about her. Good. Anyone else? Good. Well, thank you. It's several really, really good ideas. I love the tree at the senior center. I love the Christmas basket for the nursing home. We'll have to pursue both of these ideas very quickly, because we're already in mid-November and Christmas is right around the corner. The other thing I had, Emily was talking at our meeting, utilizing the EAC as the eyes and ears of Bridgewater community, monthly bringing topics to our table. For example, during the season, Rich Gopin could talk about and update us on pickleball and how it's going. I'm assuming that's just about ending out there for the season. Maybe you, Sandy, would be interested in talking about the garden club and some of the things going on. There's so many topics, there's so many ideas. Everyone knows programs going on in Bridgewater that would be beneficial for us to have a little more knowledge. And it would be really, really nice if we bring all this to our monthly meeting. Does anyone have a question or comment on that? Okay. And basically, that's what our subcommittee report covers. I'm moving right into now kind of a combined thing. It's Chris Hoffman with the update on the building. And also if there's anyone from the subcommittee that wanted to share anything, but Chris, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, David. Well, I'll happy to be here. Happy to just give a quick update on Portico building out front. We've been pretty fortunate to have some good weather, and we've really made more progress. And I'm sure most of you have seen it already in person, but really things are going accordingly. We worked through a rough inspection with the building department. They got some eyes on and made sure, kind of double checking that construction is going accordingly there, and it is, and just really just plugging away day to day here, making sure that things are progressing with the students down there, and really just been in the thick of it the past few weeks, and hoping for as long as rain holds off, or actually now that we almost have a roof on, we can probably do some work, some finished work underneath there as well if it does rain. So but we're in good shape overall. Looking forward to getting the roof shingles installed, some trim work, some and some sealing on the inside. And I spoke with the electrician and just kind of looping him in where we're at. So we're going to explore a lighting plan for it here shortly, as soon as we're able to connect and meet on site. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Still kind of leaving it open as far as a completion date. The instructor, Brian, I'm sure some of you have met. He is pretty personable and really loves this job, and he's actually has 2 classes that he rotates in and out, senior and junior classes. So he gets both classes some exposure on the project there, but he doesn't really anticipate slowing down progress. So you know, from shooting from the hip, it looks like you could see a completion date sooner than the end of the school year. Again, that's just me speculating based off his you know, the way he's moving forward with the project, and the way it's haven't been any holdups or any changes or anything that we needed to make. So so everything looks pretty good there, and just kind of looking forward to really just to making more progress. So so that's so all good news on that front. Happy to field any questions or any concerns if anyone has anything.
Who has questions for Chris? Anyone? I just have one quick question, Chris.
Sure.
Every time I drive by, and it's at least a couple times a week, I always see lots of supervision out there. Usually it's going pretty smoothly, it looks like. How do you compare their work, because they're all students with supervision, compared to like a paid contractor?
Well, they I guess for one, being students, I'll say the pros and cons. The pros are they are much more proficient than I expected.
Wow.
And I've seen them use power tools and measure correct. And I was kind of anticipating almost a lot more errors, I guess, being students, that they may cut a board short, or they may measure wrong or something like that. So they are very, very technically proficient. And I guess the downside of students is they just don't have the experience that a professional contractor would. So, so you watch them do some silly things, you know, just picking up and passing a board. You know, you just have to show them how to do simple things, and that things that you learn with experience. Setting up a ladder correctly, even, you know, so it doesn't fall over, and tying it off correctly, and taking certain steps that just come with on-site experience and experience overall. And that's really where they're benefiting the most, I think, from this project. It's manageable, and they get that on-site experience. So it's really good for them. So hopefully in a year or two they'll come back and they'll be the professionals.
Hopefully.
Professionals.
Well, thanks, Chris. You know, it sounds like the supervisors are doing great. It sounds like they're keeping you on your toes.
They are.
I'm sure. So, is there any other questions for Chris? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you very much, Chris, for your time.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you again.
David,
Right
David?
next on our list. Oh, I'm sorry, Doug.
could I back up, or could we back up just a minute to your comments?
Go.
I'd just like to report to the board, and I think they're aware of it, that the Lions Club in Bridgewater have an ongoing project for the building of handicapped ramps, and they've done many, many of them around the town. I sat with Dougie Simon at the breakfast the other morning, and we actually talked to a senior who is in need of a ramp, and it's going to go ahead and be built by the Lions Club. So I thought that was something really interesting, and something that the board should be aware of. I think that Kathy Hayes is aware of the program. I'm not sure how many members of the board are, but now you are.
Well, thank you, Doug. That's good to know. Hey, I have a question. Is it the members themselves building it? Do they contract out? Who's doing all the labor?
No, what Jimmy Campbell, actually from Bridgewater, I think many of you know him. He's kind of in charge of the whole thing. What they do is if they hear about a ramp that is no longer needed, they will try to get that ramp donated to the Lions Club. And they will go disassemble it, bring it, and they warehouse it, and then they go out to find people that that need a ramp. The person that we talked to last week was unaware of the program, but now he is. So what the Lions Club will do, they go down, they measure, they find out the sections that are needed, what they have and everything, and then volunteers from the club themselves go down and build it, or re-put it together.
And it is need-based, so it's not like
It is
anybody
need-based.
can receive the ramps. Yeah, actually, any request for those come to Kathy Hayes, and she determines eligibility. So if someone is low income, primarily, that's the age. It has to be a senior who's low income in Bridgewater. But they're wonderful, wonderful people. It's a great program.
I
Doug,
just have a
thank you, Doug, for sharing that with us. I had never heard of that before, and I'm not sure about the rest of our group, but I think that was probably educational for a lot of us. So thanks, Doug.
Good, okay.
I just have a comment about the program that you're going to be starting with about racism. One Book, One Community, the spring book, is going to be about racism. And we have a panel set up for a panel discussion the end of May, beginning of June.
All
And
right.
we're going to coordinate with Juneteenth as well. So that there are a number of activities that we'll be dealing with for One Book, One Community regarding the book that we've chosen for this summer, the spring summer. And we've
Well,
got
actually,
to,
that could be helpful, because maybe we could work with them, they could work with us. That would be
fun.
great.
Yeah, between the Juneteenth committee and you and the One Book, One Community, it might make a good mix.
Good. We should talk about that, Diane, because that would actually be so helpful. Great.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
We've applied for an $1,800 Arts Council grant that we're hoping to get that'll help fund purchase of some of the books and stuff for the panel and some of the other things that we've got scheduled.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is excellent. Anyone else? Well, then, moving right along, we have our treasurer's report, and we have Gloria to present it to us. Thank you.
Okay, hi, everyone. So
Gloria.
I'll go down the list of 5 as usual. Now let's start with the Howard Foundation. We have a balance of $5,331. This month, having expended about 164 for caregiver appreciation and a few things for the Veterans Day celebration. And we will have more expenses for that celebration that we will take care of this month. But as an aside, I just want to say that that celebration was amazing from start to finish. And Emily and everyone who worked on it deserves our highest respect for it. It was amazing. Just wonderful. That's my comment. All right, moving along to the COA revolving fund. We have a balance of $916, having spent $1,190, and that is all for paying the instructors for the fitness classes. And then this month on our needy seniors, we had no expenses. So we have the figure that I have is the same as last month. It's $1,854.36. And I don't know if that's accurate, but Emily can correct me if it isn't. And then down, is it? Yeah. Down to miscellaneous donations. We actually have a balance of $38,207. We did spend $112.90 on a couple of card tables for the increased game the card table games like the cribbage and everything. So we needed a couple of tables because that program is going very, very well. And then finally, we have the nutrition account, which has a balance of $11,303. We did spend $1,488. And as I've said before, this goes towards all the bistro food, and it also goes for the food for the men's breakfast, and it also goes for packaging. And that has become very, very costly, all of the materials for packaging the bistro meals. So that's why that figure is at $1,488 for this month. And that's my report respectfully submitted.
Great job, Gloria. Does anyone have any questions for Gloria? Okay, well, thank you. Good job. The next thing is our director's report. Emily.
Okay. I'll try not to cough. We have, to echo what Gloria was saying, the staff, and thank you guys for volunteering at the Veterans Day event. That was just the tip of the iceberg. It was fantastic. Every senior went home so full with their spaghetti and meatball dinner. Thank you, Nick and Robin and everybody. And Dave, it just, everybody came together, and the young students, the first graders from the Mitchell School, they learned an incredible amount of what it means to be a veteran. We received even more Veterans Day cards and made Roddy's day because he was able to pass them out at the men's breakfast that Thursday, which was really, really lovely. Well-deserved to each and every veteran. It was a very special day, especially to honor one of the last remaining World War II veterans in town, Henry. He'll be 99 in a few months, and he was pretty happy, very moving. And when I say it's the tip of the iceberg, it really is the tip of the iceberg. The principal and I were discussing about what else can we do, the what's next kind of thing. And holiday stuff is around the corner. Having the entire school trained in Dementia Friends is a big goal for Kathy Hayes. Just anything that we can do between the multiple generations of seniors, first graders, second graders, and then the little guys, the kindergartners, is going to be pretty special. So if you have any ideas, please let me know, because I'm sure they will as well, and we can all come together and celebrate. That'll be really special. The pie drive is in full force. We have 61 pies received so far, which is perfect because our goal was to get 60 pies to deliver to the Meals on Wheels consumers, as well as homebound consumers and seniors, some caregivers who are really struggling that we're aware of. We have a roster going. sometimes caregivers can't cook like they used to for their loved one because they're just either pooped or there's no time. So we want to be able to give those people a special pie to celebrate the holiday. This Wednesday, we're actually honoring the caregivers because it's National Family Caregiver Month. So we have a Reiki specialist, a massage therapist, a manicurist, and a really nice hot breakfast from Sodexo to celebrate caregivers. So if you know anybody who's a caregiver, please have them come to the Conant Center. There's no room at the senior center for this program, so the Conant Center has opened their doors for us, and it's completely free for Bridgewater residents. So it went out in the newsletter, and I think we'll have between 25 and maybe 30 people participate in and out, because if you know caregivers, you know, spending 4 hours away from their loved one is not an easy task. So even if they come for some scrambled eggs, that's important. And then we have a little gift for them. We are collecting names of seniors here in town who need some help with snow services, whether it be shoveling or plowing. Could you let me know anybody that you may know of who could use the service? Excuse me. The CPC, as you're aware of, is funded listening sessions to determine what kind of a landscape the community would like here between the pickleball courts, the senior center, and the Conant Health Center, and how to connect the three. And will be the architect brought over activity sheets for us to put stickers on of what items you'd like to see from and prioritize them. Some ideas included pickleball court expansions, indoor pickleball courts, a bridge connecting the Conant Center parking lot to the pickleball courts, adding a pavilion or a gazebo, bathrooms for the public to use, open bathrooms, security lighting, a sidewalk connecting the pickleball courts to the Conant Center, hiking trails that are handicapped accessible, as well as for independent people who ambulate. An overlook at the pond over by the parking lot is a little informal, I don't think it's a vernal pool, I think it's a full pond, but having an overlook as a kind of like a meditation area was mentioned. That's an idea. Opening up an adult day center at the Conant Center was mentioned. And then some items we talked about over the years actually has been an outdoor grilling space, kitchen and sensory gardens, bocce courts, shuffleboard, horseshoe pits, workout stations, a greenhouse, amphitheater, putting green, all kinds of active ways for seniors and people of all ages to stay engaged with one another. And I wanted to ask, what do you think is the most popular request so far?
Bathrooms.
Yes. Having bathrooms has become the priority for this area because the senior center is open, you know, it closes at 4 and it's not really open on the weekends. Certain times, yes, but not majority, no. But having accessible bathrooms to people who frequent the pickleball courts is a great idea. And I think that, you know, once all of this process is put together, we can present that to the CPC to see what kind of things they'd like to fund on this campus. So stay tuned for that, but bathrooms is number one.
Emily, can I just interrupt for 1 second? I had never heard this suggestion before, but I think the adult daycare would be a great concept. I think because people are living longer, there's a lot of people with dementia of different levels, and you know, it's very, very hard for the caregivers. And a lot of towns around have daycare organizations, and I think this would be great for Bridgewater.
Agreed. There's no other game in town other than us to take care of the community seniors. And to have that space available, already set up, ready to almost turnkey, move in ready. We just need some nice tables and better lighting. And staff, we need somebody to staff it. Does anybody have questions about that part? Okay. We have really great news that we received. One of the transportation grants we received. So we applied for 2 transportation grants to expand the current ridership in Bridgewater for seniors and people with disabilities. And I'm very proud to say we received one of them. It's through the state, so Mass Development. It's a taxi and livery grant. So we'll be working just like we did last year with A&A Metro or Bill's Taxi to provide subsidized rides to seniors, people with disabilities, but also Bridgewater State University students who are in need. In need could mean they're low income, they don't have a car, they need to go to Market Basket instead of Roach Brothers, whatever the need is, we'll be determining their eligibility for ridership. And part of that grant will be hiring a new staff person to coordinate all the transportation. So if you know anybody who has transportation coordination experience, please have them apply through the town website for the position. And this will be actually the first, it's a microtransit grant, but we'll go into details once we get all the paperwork signed. Is Nick frozen? Oh, okay. Hi, Nick. Thought you were frozen. So that'll be a really innovative grant. It's designed to be a pilot grant to determine the needs of all ages of people in need for a ride hail service. So like, it's kind of like a Bridgewater Uber. And there will be a fee, $5 per ride, very affordable, but it'll be kind of neat because if you're home, you're a senior or you're a younger person with a disability or a student, and you want to go to Market Basket, you just call the number and say, I'd like to go to Market Basket. And then, you know, a few minutes later, somebody picks you up and you go. It's so fabulous. More to come. We'll see what the need really is. When we had this grant last year, it was a much smaller grant and we provided free rides to the seniors and people with disabilities. But we realized that it was overused by a certain group and they were going outside of a certain radius. So it kind of ate up the grant too quickly to really see what is the need. But one thing we learned was people really want a ride to go to their doctors whenever they need it, whether it be a specialist or if it's a follow-up consultation. They don't want to book something, you know, 4 days in advance, and they don't want to go on a community van with 10 other people, be dropped off in the morning and then pick up in the afternoon. So this is a way to fill that gap in service, because you can't have that right now unless you pay you know, expensive taxi cab fees, to be honest. So this will be a really effective way to see what does a community need, and then we can put together a plan on how to keep it sustainable. It's only a year if we get through the full year, but it's going to be a really great way to help the seniors and younger people. So details, more to come. Dave mentioned about the area of social justice around anti-Semitism program. I think it's a wonderful idea. We're hearing all kinds of conversations that are uncomfortable, and we try to, you know, nip it in the bud in the beginning of the conversation, but sometimes people have very ingrained ways of how they were raised, and we want to do some more education and bring awareness to older adults on what language is acceptable, things around LGBTQ, Black people, anti-Semitism, racism, all kinds of subjects that are at the forefront right now in the news. And we'll be working with Bridgewater State University's Martin Richard Institute on some kind of a program, just like we did 2 years ago with the panel program of older Black residents here in town. I thought it was wonderful. A lot of people learned a lot. It was a conversation of the community. It was really, really effective. Like Dave said, we'll be putting something like that together. If you have other program ideas that you'd like to see next year too, we're gearing up. 2023 is around the corner, and we want to, fill the calendar with all kinds of different creative ways to get the community engaged. The newsletter will have a little different front, a little different feel. It'll be more educational. A lot of people are calling us asking for fuel assistance, ombudsman programs, all kinds of resources. So we're going to try to make the newsletter have a reflect what the community need is asking of us. The holidays are around the corner. If anybody would like to volunteer at the holiday party or any of the other concerts coming up next month, please do. We need all the help we can get. And all those activities are right in the newsletter. We have the holiday party with Jeff Fowler on Friday the 16th. We have a couple of different concerts. We have the University Social Justice Choir coming. There's all kinds of different events planned for December. So it'll be nice though, because we're back. Everybody's back in full swing, which is nice to see. And the last program is Wednesday night, the turkey dinner. A policeman's turkey dinner will be in person this year. Hasn't been in person for 2 years. So, but it will be boxed because people still are not comfortable eating in the building. So all of the meals will be boxed. And if people want to stay, sit down with their friends to eat it, there's that option. But if they feel uncomfortable or they want to kind of take it back to their community, it'll be boxed up and they can do that as well. Scott will be driving the van. I think he has 12 people he's picking up, which is awesome. To be able to bring them here to eat dinner with their family or friends, excuse me, I think it's wonderful. So he'll be here driving people back and forth. And I think that's all I have, Dave.
I just have one question. Back to the A&A Metro that we're using for the transportation. Do they give us special pricing, or are we full market price for the trips back and forth?
That's a great question. It's a microtransit grant, so it's a daily rate. So it's just 2 vehicles out on the road all day long, picking people up, dropping them off, not based on mileage, but I think it's 65 or 75 an hour, something like that. It'll be a few $100s a day versus by mileage, which is good.
That's good. Oh, great. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Emily at all? Okay, well, thank you. Rich, I know you've been very involved with the wellness calls. Did you want to update us how the wellness calls are going?
Well, I haven't filed a report for a while, but I've been doing it every Wednesday, about an hour and a half each Wednesday. Some Wednesdays I focus, depending on how my voice is, because my voice has been having some issues. I focus either more on looking up numbers, since we are we don't have numbers for most seniors. So I've been looking up numbers, and on those Wednesdays when my voice is pretty good, I've been making calls. So I've called, I don't have a total number, but probably somewhere on the order of 100 or so in the last, since our last meeting. So that's in the last 4 weeks, roughly 100 people, roughly 25 per week. And of those, probably half, more than half, have been confirming that the numbers that I had for them were incorrect. So not in service, in other words. They may have been correct at one time, but they're no longer. So at very least, we were finding out that we don't have current numbers for a lot of people. But when I do reach people, they're usually very, very appreciative of the call. And they get to either talk about their experience with the senior center, which usually is very positive. Or they say, oh, I didn't know you did that, when we're talking about some of the activities and services that we offer. A lot of people have requested newsletters. I've only gotten 1 or 2 email addresses from people. So most people, when they request a newsletter, they're requesting it by mail. And we've probably gotten somewhere around 25, I would say, requests for additional sending out newsletters to people. And that's about it, unless you have any questions.
Well, thanks, Rich. That's really nice. Does anyone have questions for Rich at all?
I'm also.
And Diane
making the
is as
phone
well.
calls. I'm also making the phone calls on
Yeah.
Fridays. And again, probably 5 hours over the last month. And yeah, I think the phone numbers have been challenging because one time I called a fellow and he ended up being in California, and it wasn't actually, it was the same name as the person I was supposed to be calling, but I had a California exchange, and he wasn't too happy about being woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning. But other than that, it's been pretty okay. But yeah, it's been challenging finding the telephone numbers and correct numbers, and disappointing that there seem to be some people who may not still be there. But again, people who are very interested in getting the newsletter, but so many people don't have emails, and they so appreciate the things being mailed. And several people, some were very inspirational, saying, you know what? Nope, I don't need any help. That's what keeps me going. I'm 90 years old and I still chop my own wood, and I shovel my own pathway. And yet there were others who really wanted the extra help. So it's been rewarding. I really enjoyed being able to do the calls.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would second that it has been rewarding. And I know I take notes, and I'm sure Diane does as well.
Mhm.
So when we notice that somebody, perhaps, someone tells us their husband, who we had a name for, had just died, we make a note of that as well, that kind of thing. So we are updating our information on who's out there and who's still out there, and that sort of thing. So it's an informational gathering as well.
Great. Well, I gotta say, Diane and Rich, thank you both for the great work that you're doing. Thank you. I think that's everything. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or anything they'd like to bring up at this point?
I just had a quick question to Emily.
Sure.
Em, did they decide on any new name for the building yet?
Nobody's done anything with that. I think they're waiting to see what they want to have around here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments, or anything they'd like to bring up?
David, could I make a comment?
Please.
I'd just like to bring an experience back to the board for your information, and what I see is a tremendous opportunity. At the breakfast last week, 4 of us were sitting there, and 2 of the interns from the college asked if they could join us. An hour later, when we were still the only ones there, and I guess they were trying to kick us out so they could clean up. We talked afterwards what a rewarding experience it had been. They wanted to know all about us as seniors. We wanted to know all about them as being college students. One of the foremost things that came out in the discussion on both the young ladies were, we're a new generation. We're not like the past generation that you elderly people might have been looking at and seeing what's going on. We're aware, we're involved. We want to become involved and more involved. My point being that I think all of us, and we could probably impress on the seniors, take the time to sit down and talk to these young ladies and gentlemen who was there. They have a wealth of information. They're looking for the wealth of experience that we have had that we can give them. And actually some pretty funny stories came out of that whole discussion, which I won't go into, but it was very rewarding. And just reach out to them. They're wonderful, wonderful people.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. And just a couple other points for the men's breakfast. I don't know how much everyone is aware, but Joanne does the breakfast in Courtney every month. They come in around before 7 o'clock in the morning to start the breakfast, and I get there at 7:30, and they're already well into the swing of things. Last week, we had 27 gentlemen there. The month before, there was over 40. So it's really, really successful. And, you know, Emily has brought together a really, really vibrant men's breakfast on a monthly basis. So great job.
You know who started that group? It was a result of the marketing grant that we had in the winter. It was that marketing grant where we worked with BSU, the School of Business. Actually, the young people said, listen, you need to outreach more to the men. Call them the Old Dogs Club, which nobody liked, but outreaching the men has made the older women in town want their own breakfast. I think people coming together through food is outstanding. And for all of these men from totally different backgrounds, some of them don't do much other than come out for this once a month breakfast. And it's outstanding. Doug, thank you for bringing that up, because this men's breakfast is really, it's like the best way to help them. And then we get to talk to them and say, hey, you know, Mr. Smith, how are you today? And then we joke around and there's liveliness, and it's just a great way to keep them engaged. And at the breakfast last week, we have one of our expressive arts grants is sending 10 of those men to the museum, the American Heritage Museum, and lunch with Roddy, which is so fantastic. I mean, some of those guys have never been up to that museum. I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but it's a military museum.
Yeah.
And up in Hudson, so it's a little over an hour away. Scott's driving. Roddy is probably providing lots of great conversation, and they're going to have lunch and a tour of the museum. I mean, and it doesn't cost us anything. It's great. It's awesome.
They pull the chances yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Did you dog hear your ticket?
I put my ticket in, I did.
What else? Anyone else have any more comments? Hello?
I just want to, when is the deadline for the pies, Emily? Have I missed it?
Anytime before next Wednesday.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep. They'll be going out. Debbie, the Meals on Wheels, you'll probably have a pie with you if you're driving next Wednesday.
Yeah, I was confused because in the top of the hill, it said that you were looking for pies between the 16th and the 21st. And how could you have so many pies already?
Roach Brothers.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, how do you have 60 pies already if they were supposed to start getting them on the 16th?
They'll be fresh, ready to be delivered. I know. The Roach Brothers donated 30 apple and 30 pumpkin.
Wow, that was
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So does anyone else have any final words of wisdom?
I just have a quick question about Bistro. What's the status of that for after the first of the year?
Business as usual till the spring.
Oh, really? Okay.
Robin, I think you're the main drive on that, waiting until the springtime, because we switched things up. We had a group meeting with the volunteer, Robin, Regina, Nick, Dave, and everybody. And we talked about having the bistro delivery stop unless the person was homebound. But we're going to keep going through the winter because that's when people need it the most.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we are going to start January 1st, making a shuttle anywhere around town to pick people up to come to lunch in person to Regina and Robin's lunch. So they can get it delivered still if they want for no fee. But come the springtime, probably March, April, around there, I think. I mean, we have to talk about it, but we'll have people come in the building and deliver only to homebound.
Okay. Sorry, I raised that. It may have been discussed earlier. I came in late because of a doctor's appointment that went way over. It was, so sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else? Well, thank you for all the comments, questions, and involvement today. I think this was a great meeting. Thank you all for your participation. The next meeting is scheduled December 12th at 2 p.m. We will motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Yes, you have a motion to
Gloria,
adjourn.
thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Mary Lou.
Who's that? Oh, hi, Mary. Okay, second. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week and we'll see you all at the next
Happy
meeting.
Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Lots
Happy
of blessings.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.